What are you doing? Nothing. Why not?
I'm trying to get on this Lifestyle Radio website.
Sounds like a cool website.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, I might have had it.
You might have it.
You're listening to Lifestyle Radio.
Good evening. I'm Coulter Wonkite. I'm already into the 420, damn it.
You like music, you like weed, well, we gonna be good friends indeed. This is not much I like more than smoking trees. They'll make you dance the do-si-do and teach you how to achieve the grow. Smoke a bowl on the 420 radio show. On Lifestyle Radio.
Yeah, this is lifestyleradio.net and the 420 radio show. Oh, I got to learn not to take a toke before the show starts.
Oh, can't breathe. I can't breathe.
Yeah. So what's up? Chris is here. Chris Backer is here. Hi, Chris.
Hello. How you doing?
We've never spoken before, but I know who you are.
There we are. We're speaking now.
Everybody knows who Chris is.
Oh,
Chris is famous.
Is he?
whatever.
Why are you famous?
Maybe we can get Chris to tell us all the different organization and groups he's involved with.
Oh, there's not that many. There's not that many. There's not many hours in a day. Spend so much time working for cannabis, doesn't leave much time for anything else.
Well,
So you're in a number of different cannabis groups too, though, aren't you?
I am. I'm the vice chair of Maritimers Unite for Medical Marijuana. I'm on the board of the Nova Scotia Firefighters Burn Treatment Society. I'm the head of Karma Compassion, which is a pilot project of mine that's kind of in a stasis mode right now. And I'm part of the anonymous group whenever they need the extra body.
Does that make you no longer anonymous?
I was going to say, you're not very anonymous about it.
I've never been very anonymous. That's just it. I mean, I think I understand why they do it the way that they do, but I'm very happy to put my face to it so somebody can talk to me if they need to.
I thoroughly love what they're doing, although in some cases there's a lack of organization, but that also works for their benefit.
Exactly.
Right? So
I see a lack of organization in a lot of stuff. So
yep. Well, that's what I'm getting at.
One little bit.
Look at our federal government.
Yeah.
There's a lack of organization.
Yeah, but I've watched them build the Op 420 thing just from the beginning up, and they do a lot of good work. They get a lot of work out there, a lot of words.
Miller Case, Matea Parsons. I mean, really, they've brought light to a lot of big topics. So.
Well, they take an initiative and they run with it, and it's their initiative, and that's why it works, right?
It's about righting a wrong. They see something that's wrong, and the people that have been trying to fight the fight have come up against nothing but obstacle after obstacle, and they just pick up the ball and run with it.
Just like other organizations do, but there's a difference there. People actually respect these people, I mean, it's weird how Anonymous has taken on a household name, even though it's an anonymous organization, right?
Absolutely. I mean, it's about people realizing that somebody has to do something. Like, what's the saying? I thought one day that somebody should do something about that, and then I realized that I'm somebody.
Yeah.
I have to agree. Yeah. If it takes to put a mask on to do it, whatever it gets you off your couch.
Well, my opinion on the whole mask thing, I understand it. I understand the whole meaning behind it. But if I can't go out there using me, Al Rapp, as the whatever, I'm not being honest with anybody.
No, absolutely. So. But I think the idea of the mask is that it could be anybody. Okay? It doesn't matter who's. Doesn't matter who's standing there. They could be anyone.
It doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, what color you are, what you do for a living. You put that mask on, and you're feared. You walk into a place with that mask on, and you do get a lot of fear from people. Oh. You know, there's so much to the point where it's now illegal in Canada to wear one at any protest. And
at a riot.
But
you can't cover your face at a riot. You're allowed to cover your face at a protest, not at a riot.
Are you serious?
At the commission of a crime or during a riot.
Right, but see what happens is the police will provoke a protest to base a riot.
Incite that. But the Fokker mask itself is, as far as I know, illegal to wear in Canada now, is it not?
I don't think so. I wore mine recently, so
maybe
I'll find out.
Well, I was going to say, maybe if anybody who's listening knows the answer to that, you could give us a call at 323-795-2420. You never know who's going to call with an answer.
I'm pretty confident that you're allowed to, but yeah.
Well, hey, you know, I mean, I've heard that. I've heard you're allowed to. I've heard you're not allowed to. Let's figure it out, and then we'll know, right?
Yeah.
We're chatting with Chris Backer, and Ellen is here too. I'm not sure if you'll hear her. Hello, Ellen.
Hello. Nice to be here.
Her voice is working today. And, of course, Marcel is here. Ellen's got some news for us later in the show. Marcel's got some BS for us later in the show. And, I don't know.
Just later?
Yeah. BS?
Okay.
You were supposed to run with it. I don't know.
I don't know what kind of BS I'm going to have later.
I don't know. Okay, so let's get back to this conversation with Chris.
Brilliant stuff, I think.
Brilliant stuff? Yeah, Academy Award winning.
There, you wanted to know about the mask?
Yeah.
All right.
Can I just throw one thing in before you start? The last time we did, there was a million mask march down at the Province House in Halifax, and the reporters came up and they wanted to know what was the significance of wearing the V for Vendetta mask.
Okay.
And I had to say, so really, as a reporter, you're asking on Guy Fawkes Day why the person that's wearing the Guy Fawkes mask is wearing a V for Vendetta. As if you missed the entire point.
Exactly.
People don't even know.
Most of them don't know, and they don't understand
Would you do me a favor, please, as a layman here? I don't know anything about the significance of the mask. Maybe you can enlighten us.
Well, I think that's what Marcel was about to lay down for us, wasn't he?
That you give her. I was going to lay down.
I'm hoping you had it right in front of you. I only have the gist.
No, what I've got is an article from 2013 in regards to wearing a mask.
Okay.
Well, you read that, and I'll look up some information about the mask.
Yeah. If it's an illegal protest, anyone that's wearing a mask can sing up to 10 years in prison.
Say that again, please.
If it is an illegal protest, wearing a mask under the new anti-mask legislation will face up to 10 years in prison.
But they could deem that as pretty much.
They can call any protest illegal unless you go and get permits for your protest.
Well, I'm looking at the Wikipedia right up here on it. Okay.
On Guy Fawkes mask.
On Guy Fawkes mask. Yeah. And let's see.
He was like the ultimate anarchist, right?
So it's
exactly.
It gives a little bit about the origin.
It was the House of Lords, I believe, and he had gone down underneath and he had set up hundreds and hundreds of kegs of gunpowder to blow up the House of Lords in London. And it took him so long that the gunpowder went wet and damp and it didn't go off. And they put him away in the tower, and then they think they beheaded him afterwards or something.
It says here that the mask became associated with hacktivist group Anonymous, Project Chanology, protested against the Church of Scientology in 2008. The group protested the church, in response to the church forcing YouTube to pull a video of Tom Cruise discussing Scientology that was meant for internal use within the church. In response, Anonymous protested the litigious methods. The methods of the Church of Scientology.
Litigious.
Thank you. Over a period of several months, protesters were engaged to hide their faces, since it was common practice for the church members to photograph anti-Scientologist protester. The Guy Fawkes mask was widely used. Was a widely used method of hiding faces, and then it goes on and on and on and on and on.
Okay, I didn't know that was that part of it, but the guy himself, it was like back in the 1600s. So
yeah, that's what it says here too. Yep. It's a little
Guy's
bit.
been around for a long
they still have
time.
Guy Fawkes Day.
Let's see.
they call it Bonfire Night
Yeah.
because he tried to blow up the House of Lords.
In
That's the
places
whole.
like New Zealand.
It doesn't.
Places like New Zealand, the kids used to make like scarecrows, and they'd go into the center of their little towns or their front lawns, and they would burn these scarecrows, and they were supposed to be Guy Fawkes. It was a huge, big party for them.
It says it was became known as Guy Fawkes Night, and now they've changed it to Bonfire Night, but that was in the 1600s. Yeah.
And now that's the same day that they hold the Million Mask March for Anonymous.
And all the power to them.
Oh yeah. Hey, go for it.
Like I said, every year they dedicate it to a cause, so
It's an amazing bunch of people, and it's a lot of people. They come out of nowhere. Believe me, they come out of fucking nowhere.
And it's amazing the information that they can get their hands on when they want it.
Yeah, and you know what? And most of them are just everyday people with jobs, families, and who are fighting the fight.
Yeah,
the way they know how. And some of them are guys like myself and Marcel and Chris, who have been doing the computer thing for years and years and years and years. It's hard not to, know about what's going on there. It's really when you're knee deep in computer chips, I guess you could call it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, we know what they're doing and how they're doing it, and we applaud their efforts.
Yeah.
In all honesty, I think the biggest eye-opener here on this coast was the Rehtaeh Parsons.
Yeah,
because
that's
they
for sure.
took a dead-end case.
Explain that, because I don't know anything about it being in the middle of the country.
Are we allowed to talk about the Rehtaeh Parsons?
Yeah, we are now.
Or do we get in trouble?
Publication ban's been lifted.
What do you mean? Explain that first, please.
Rehtaeh Parsons was a minor.
Yes.
Who was sexually assaulted. And during the sexual assault by this group of individuals, photos were taken. And they were shared on the internet to the point to cause Rehtaeh Parsons to attempt suicide.
Wow.
People who assaulted her were minors as well.
Right.
When was this?
Basically, it got to the point where the police wouldn't do anything until Anonymous stepped in.
Oh, okay. I get you. And so this is recent.
Case.
This is recent.
Yes.
This is fairly recent, yes, within the last 2 to 3 years.
Wow, and it takes a bunch of hackers to stop something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it didn't stop it.
It didn't stop it.
Suicide.
No. Did she?
But it did get people charged and convicted.
Yeah.
They found the people responsible?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Listen, just a second here. Awesome. I got a awesome here. Need an awesome. This is for you, Anonymous. There you go. And on that note, you know what? Let's take a quick break. We're going to listen to John, what is it? John Leroy? Lhajoie. How do you pronounce that? Anybody?
I don't know.
Okay, anyways, the song name is High as Fuck. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. This is the 420 Radio Show. Come on in the chat room and say hello at lifestyleradio.net if you're listening.
Have you ever watched the sun go down and you're thinking about the world spinning round? Have you ever been high as fuck? You're in the bathroom mirror talking to yourself and your dog's looking at you like you need help. Have you ever been high as fuck? Then you feel your heart pumping really fast and you're convinced that you're gonna have a heart attack. Have you ever been high as fuck? You close your eyes and you're on a chicken farm. The only problem's that the chickens have human arms. You say that's fucked up, why do the chickens have human arms? You need snacks so you walk to the corner store, but you're scared because you think that they will know you're high. So you walk around the block to buy some time. Finally decide to go in the store, but you're so high you don't know why you're there anymore. So you just buy a pack of gum, get the hell out of there. You're walking home and your mouth is dry. Should have bought some juice and snacks, but you were too high. Thinking about ketchup chips, and for some reason the game Battleship. You start thinking about how fun it was to play games like Battleship when you're a kid, and how as we get older we forget how to play and just to enjoy ourselves. So you say, guess what, I'm going to make up a game right now, and it involves a baseball bat and a porcupine, and I'm going to try to kill a porcupine with a baseball bat, but then you don't know where to find the porcupine, so you go on eBay and you do a search, but people don't sell porcupines on the internet, and you say, you know what, world, you got me cornered again, I'm going to roll another joint. You ever eat a whole bag of crackers that was so old that they weren't crispy anymore? Have you ever been high as fuck?
I always take the rental. Yeah, always. Okay, we're back, and this is the 420 Radio Show. We're live on lifestyleradio.net. I don't know how long we were back for, but I'm talking to you now. I hope you enjoyed that song, and you're high as fuck.
And if you got more than just the song, then you learned something about, I don't know what the hell you were even talking about.
I forget. Who cares?
Sorry, Al.
The only thing that matters is what we're about to say.
This is supposed to be an educational show. Because it's an educational show, I'm going to do a medical cannabis survey. And I'm going to ask Marcel if he wouldn't mind pulling it up and asking me the questions, and I'll answer them as we go through them.
Oh,
that
okay.
way we have a little bit of
difficult. All right, well, but the survey is actually a pretty good survey.
Yeah, well, I mean, seeing as it's from you guys, I thought you would be able to handle that.
So what we want is a survey done on basically the cost analysis versus pharmaceuticals to use in cannabis.
Okay.
And we want anybody that uses cannabis for medicinal purposes to fill this out, and they can check it out at the Medicinal Cannabis Patients Alliance website at mcpacanada.org and fill out the survey, and it'll take you about 2 or 3 minutes. This one's going to take a little longer because I'm going to ask Al the questions, and I don't know, some of them might be kind of personal for you, Al.
Oh, it's okay. I'm an open book.
Because it's a totally anonymous survey. We're not taking any personal data. We can get away with asking some personal questions.
Yeah, but it's not like how big my dick is or anything, so we're good.
No, because
that's on the other website.
plus we want people to be honest. So let's do this.
All right, let's do this.
I guess I got to go and get the survey, don't I?
I got it right here. I'll give you the link.
I have the link.
Okay. Yes, you wrote it, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I have to go. I normally look at it a different one. All right. So before you use cannabis as a medicine, how much per year was spent on medication to treat your illness or injury?
I don't know. Honestly, I would say, let's see, on an average, maybe 120 a month. They could usually afford about a half ounce a month. At street prices, you're talking...
No. That's not cannabis. This is pharmaceutical medications.
Oh, okay.
Before you started using cannabis as a medicine.
Oh, before. Well, it was less than $1,000 because I'm on ODSP, so less than $1,000. Right?
So you're saying it was covered?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So the question is, how much was spent? Not how much did you spend yourself, but how much was spent on medication. So your choice is less than 1,000, 1,000 to 5,000, 5,000 to 15,000, 15 to 25, 25 to 50, or more than 50,000 a year.
Well, I'd probably say between 5 to 14. So
5 to 14, yeah. Perfect. Because here's the next question. What portion of that was covered by provincial, federal insurance, or other subsidizing programs?
100%.
100%. How long have you been using cannabis as a medicine?
10 years. Well,
right, so
I'm going to say 11 to 20 years because I was using it, but I didn't know I was using it as medicine.
All right. 11 to 20 years.
Okay.
How do you usually access your cannabis? And your choices are grow my own, someone grows for me, buy it on the streets, purchase from a club or dispensary, or purchase from a licensed producer under the MMPR.
I'd like to buy a vowel, please.
Is there another option that you don't have there?
How do I usually... I'm not going to answer that one on the air.
All right. But, like I told you, some of these are personal questions.
That's fine. I cannot answer it and still put my answer.
Yeah, you can answer it.
What is the current... Oh, okay.
What is your current cost per gram for cannabis? Less than 50 cents?
Unfortunately, $10 to $15 a gram.
10 to 15 a gram.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Gross.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, hey.
How much cannabis do you use or prescribe for per day?
I'm prescribed
less than 3 grams, 3 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 20, more than 50?
Yep. That one's done.
All right. How much is your annual cost to medicate with cannabis? This will include the cost to grow it or purchase it.
Again, 5 to 14, because I worked it out that if I was to pay for the allotted 3 grams that I have a license for here in this wonderful Harperville of ours, it would cost me just over $10,000. So I'm going to say 5 to 14, 5 to 15 again. So.
All right, perfect.
Yep.
What portion of that's covered by provincial, federal insurance, or other subsidizing programs?
Not a fucking thing.
Zero.
Nothing. Zippo.
How do you best prefer using your cannabis? Smoke with a joint or pipe or bong, vaporized,
all of them.
Ingested concentrates, tinctures, emulsions, ingested in baked goods, topically, suppositories, or juice it or eat it raw.
I honestly think that there should be all the above in there, but I'm going to say I prefer smoking a joint.
All right.
Yep.
I want people to be honest with these. So.
Well, I mean, I'm a retired cigarette smoker, and I'm a smoker though, and I've been a smoker since I was 12 years old or so. So it's hard to give up that habit of putting something to your mouth all the time. And God has given me cannabis, so I have switched, I guess.
See, I smoke cannabis all the time, but I prefer ingesting concentrates.
I enjoy and I like the concentrates, but if somebody said you have a choice of this cookie, this rub, this pill, the oil, or this joint. I'm going to take the joint.
I'm going to take the oil.
I'm going to take the joint, and then I'm going to ask them if I can have all of it. But
I'll take the oil, roll the joint with a bit of the oil, and then swallow it.
Yeah.
In your opinion, has your health and quality of life improved since you started using cannabis as a medicine?
I honestly believe I am still alive because of it.
All right, that's one of your choices.
Yep.
There's also greatly improved, somewhat improved, no real change, and that got worse.
I already changed it.
How much is your yearly income?
I'm on
so you can do
disability,
less than 13,000 if you're on pension.
Yep.
14 to 25, 25 to 50, 50 to 100, or over 100. Are you legally prescribed to use cannabis by a medical practitioner through the MMAR or MMPR?
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes is good.
We have a mystery guest, I think. Somebody at the door. Yes, of course. Yes, I am. Not of course, but yes.
Might be the cops. If yes, how much were you charged to be legally licensed? So did you pay a doctor or a clinic to sign your medicinal cannabis license?
Yes, I did.
Right.
Originally, I went to one of Dr. Cameraman's clinics. You told me to be honest. I'm being honest. I got caught up in DG stealing my papers, and then Dr. Cameraman's got into his mess before I could get replacement papers. So, yes, I didn't... The doctor who actually signed for me did not charge me anything, though.
Right.
But I did...
But if you did pay before to be licensed, then you can go ahead and put that amount down.
Okay, well, unfortunately, I'm going to put that amount down to between $50 and $249.
Right. Next question is, do you sometimes experience difficulties acquiring cannabis?
Yes, I can't afford the prices. Now, let's move on.
So your choices are never, or yes, because you can't afford the prices, yes, because you can't find any, or yes, because of licensed producers, shortages, and recalls.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the last question is, if given the choice for legal access, which of the following would best suit you and your lifestyle?
I would either grow or have somebody that I trust grow for me, not somebody that I don't know, though.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Or you can purchase from the streets, or you can purchase from a club or dispensary, or you can purchase from a licensed producer.
Yes, well, I go to a dispensary right at the moment because that's the way I am set up to do it, and I was sent there by my doctor. So, I'm even though I'm trying to stay within the lines of the law as given to me by this injunction saying that I can still do it. Basically, right?
Yeah.
So, let's, now that I've done that and I've sent it in,
Perfect.
Let me ask you a question since I mentioned the Allard stuff. We are waiting. Is that what we're doing in all three of these cases right now, or however many there are?
Oh, they're just going to keep piling up the cases.
Mm-hmm.
There's two main cases that we're waiting for. So we're waiting for Allard, and we're waiting for Smith.
Okay.
Smith is at a higher level.
Both of those this month?
Pardon me?
Are both of those going to be finished this month?
No. Final closing
next
arguments for the Allard one don't happen until April 30th.
Okay.
So they'll do their closing arguments.
But aren't those closing arguments waiting for the Smith decision?
No. The closing arguments are for the Allard decision on the April 30th. There are no closing arguments for the Smith decision.
That's what
the
they
judges at the Supreme Court are off to make their decision, and that could be months.
But I was under the understanding that the Allard group was waiting for the decision from the judges, and they were going to have it back before the 30th.
That's what I had heard that as well.
In a perfect world, that would be ideal.
I had heard that as well, Marcel.
Because I can't see them going against making a decision now when the Supreme Court's going to come up with a decision right behind it, and it could be contrary to what they just decided.
Now, what happens if that happens? What happens?
The Allard case doesn't have the concentrates and edibles and processing in it. The Allard case is more for us to retain our rights to grow our own medicine.
Yes, yes.
I thought they had concentrates in there, though.
I don't believe that so, because I believe that the concentrates decision is going to rest solely on the Smith decision because it's already at the Supreme Court.
Okay.
So and like I say, all of this stuff can get pretty friggin' confusing. So what I think the best outcome is for us to wait until the decisions come out and see what happens. And I mean, regardless, Allard's going to be appealed, regardless of the decision.
Yeah, I mean, if Health Canada loses, or like if they side with Health Canada, the patients are going to appeal.
Yes,
and vice versa, for sure, absolutely. This is going to be going on for years.
But that means the injunction continues.
This is going to be going on for years, Chris. For
the
years.
Injunction will stay on. Our lawyer that consults with us through the MCPAC has basically come out and said that it could be 10 to 15 years before this is all said and done in the courts.
And there's going to be a lot of people, a lot of sick people won't be here then, unfortunately.
Exactly. Because it's a great waiting game for Health Canada to force these stupid arbitrary rules and then fight it out in court until all of the litigants die.
Can I ask
because they can't have access.
Let me ask you, just put this thought out there. If this gets dragged on for 10 years, okay, there are 40,000 of us now that we know about. I'm sure it's gone up since the MMPR started. Now, if 10,000 of us end up dead because of what's going on now before the courts say, okay, we're siding with who and who, and it's done, wouldn't that be a case for a mass genocide or something like that? Like, because wouldn't there be somebody that would be able to say, hey, wait a minute, all these people has died. Somebody's got to be to blame for this.
Oh, I would agree in a perfect world, yes. But ideally what the country needs is
I guess what I'm saying
is
Marcel,
a political party with a leader with enough balls to go in and remove cannabis from the CDSA.
It's feeling to me like they have just put us in a row. They're waiting for us to die off one at a time before they make a decision, because then they don't feel badly about it. Or, I mean, I'm sure it's not like that, but you understand.
No, but it probably is, and really, it's a waiting game, and it's a losing game for them, because we're just going to keep using cannabis anyways. And we'll stay alive.
I got something to say.
And it'll happen the same way that it happened in the States. There'll be a beautiful little girl who was helped with her years and stayed alive, and then the government took her cannabis away and she died. And you get two or three of those and they'll stop.
Cash Hyde went and he got his license and he was doing fabulous, and then they pulled them, and then they gave them back, and then they pulled them again. By the time they gave them back, he was gone.
Yeah.
And if they had not taken his license away from him, he'd probably still be here. There are a lot of kids like that out there that are dying.
So here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to read you a comment from Lawrence in the chat room.
Okay,
and he said Kirk Tusaw, who is Owen Smith's lawyer, posted they are not expecting a reply for at least 4 months at the earliest, if at all. Apparently, there's no limitation to the time within which they have to reply, which is basically what I said. It could be a year before the Supreme Court comes back with a decision on this. And they may purposely wait to see what the decision is on the Allard trial.
I heard that sigh, and
the advantage is if you get caught with concentrates in this country, then your first line of defense is to ask for an adjournment until after the Smith decision.
Or don't get caught.
But
keep your mouth shut. don't get
the Gestapo just does it anyways. But regardless, you're not going to go to court.
Charge anybody now.
Pardon me?
I can't imagine them being silly enough to charge anybody now with all this going on.
They are, though.
Actually,
they are.
They know they'll argue.
Oh, no, but they
Actually, I will inform you that somebody was charged just this week with concentrates.
Yeah.
Really?
And I'm not going to say who it is because I think we'll be talking about this individual quite extensively in the near future, but he's very well known within our community. This will be another legal fight.
Yeah.
Because he's not going to back down.
Well, on Tuesday, we're all marching on the police station for Bob Dillman for him being raided. Well, he's a legal patient, so I mean, something has to be done.
Bob was here the day before, kind of asking why he wasn't arrested and stuff like that. So
they must have been listening to the show.
He kind of pushed some buttons, I think, that night.
Perfectly fine, because
they walked in the next day, I think, didn't they?
Yeah, pretty close to it, or a couple days later. But the thing with Bob is he's not going to back down either.
Well, that's good.
Right? And ideally, if anybody in this country gets busted with cannabis and you're using it for medical purposes, don't back down.
That dude.
We got that lady in Alberta this week. I think you had read her.
And you were going to talk about
that she put out.
Yeah.
Marcel?
Oh yes.
Do you want to explain that a little bit? I don't know if we should use her name, but
actually, I heard about it from Chris Backer.
Yeah, you talk about Nadine.
Right.
Yeah, talking about Nadine.
Yeah, absolutely. I was talking to her daughter after it happened, and she called me messaged me pretty upset about what had happened, and wanted to know if there was anybody that she could talk to. And it was nice because of Facebook and the community that she got a hold of me, and through me we were able to get right back over to Calgary again, and she was able to be in contact with some people who were able to offer them the comfort that they needed, and hopefully some advice, and see where they go from here.
Good. It's a good community.
Well, I was actually quite impressed sitting back watching the Facebook feeds and how quickly people were off to start Twitter conversations with the mayor of Calgary.
People were pretty upset.
Getting Calgary Anonymous involved in it. It's great to see the community coming together.
Yeah.
But like Chris says, why is there so few of us trying to do this for so many?
And why don't the police know the rules?
That's a good question. Why at this point, with everything that's going on, why is it that patients don't even know the fucking rules when it comes to the police?
Because really, that's where the biggest problem is if the patients don't even know the rules, how are we supposed to expect the police to understand the rules when the rules keep changing on a regular basis?
The last rules...
So, and I'm not defending cops because I'm not a fan of cops, and I'm the first one to admit it. But at the same time, there's not just medical cannabis rules that change. There's the driving rules that change. There's the investigation rules and procedures that change. So the cops are constantly being bombarded with changes to procedures, how they're supposed to approach things. It's kind of like expecting your doctor to know everything about the human body.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. And a cop's not going to expect, or it can't be expected to know everything about it. But the cops should have enough common sense to look at a piece of paper that authorizes somebody to use medicinal cannabis and not slam their fucking face into the ground.
Look, there's good cops, there's bad cops, just like there are good people and bad
I disagree.
People. They're doing a job, dude. It takes a certain
It's
kind
great
of
to say that they're
do
doing a job, and it's great to tell me that there's good cops and there's bad cops. But my first response is always, if there was good cops, there wouldn't be bad cops.
True enough. True enough. Yeah.
Because those bad cops would be the ones that are arrested first.
Well,
So
Again, in
that's
a
why
perfect
I'm
world.
not a fan of the police, because we don't have good cops, because they don't arrest the bad cops.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that there's
my rant for the night. Was that good enough for you?
I'm sure there's people that would argue that fact. You know,
They can argue until they're blue in the face.
No, but I mean, I'm sure there's people that would argue that fact that aren't fans of the cops as well. Because, let's put it this way. Is there a need for police? Yes.
Yes.
If they did their job.
Yes.
I'm not a fan, nor am I an enemy of the police. I obey the law. I live my life within the boundaries of the law that is set out by our government here in Canada. Or at least I try to. Okay? But will I step over that line if I feel that I'm being unjustly blah, 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 blah? Sure I will. Right. That's how the Canadian, what do you call it? That's we're allowed to do that. As a Canadian citizen, I'm allowed to say, fuck you, Harper. I don't like you. I'm not slandering him. I'm not, smacking him around or anything. I don't like Prime Minister Harper. Prime Minister, he wishes. Prime Minister Harper. The reason? Because right now he's destroying our fucking country. And everybody can see that. So
but he still has his supporters.
That's right. I was going to say that. Will he get some votes if he runs again? Oh, sure he will. Will he win?
Yeah.
I don't know. Nobody knows.
He's made a lot of enemies with the Bill C-51. I know that this April 18th, there's another big protest going to be happening over Bill C-51. I think there's a march that day, so April's a busy month.
It is.
It's just not within our own country, though. I mean, he's allowing Canada to lose face with the entire world because of his policies and what he's doing.
Yeah. I agree. I do agree. But what can you do? Go vote.
Well,
that's what you can
maybe
do. Go
eventually
out
people
and
will realize that, the Prime Minister of our country is running our country for corporations, not for the people.
He's not really hiding that fact either. That's what I think.
Not at all. He doesn't hide that.
I think that's what bothers me about him the most. He's not even hiding it. He doesn't give a shit about us people down here on the ground licking the floor. He cares about the people up there that are licking his butt. Okay.
There was an article that just came out the other day that I just basically skimmed over it because it's about Harper, but it basically said that Harper is a puppet.
Yeah.
And he's a puppet being controlled by corporations. I'm sorry, but sitting back and looking at the situation, I have to agree with that reporter.
And he's not the only world leader that's like that.
No, not at all.
It's the same everywhere. They call them shadow governments, I think.
Yeah.
They're only
you don't see them, but you follow the rules.
Yep.
Well, it's time for the people to stand up and take back their country. And one way to do it is to change these stupid inane laws that are preventing people from living.
But they got to stand up, though, because making a couple of Facebook comments and sharing some friggin' picture that you think is cute and telling your friends about, but if you're not going to get off your ass and write a letter or make a phone call or attend an event, okay, then you're a slacktivist, okay?
Yeah, exactly. Do you know what I would like to see? I would like to see people step up and start going out and speaking at events.
Yes, of course. Yes.
Do you know why? Because I'm fucking getting tired of hearing myself.
You know what, Marcel?
Seriously.
We're getting tired of hearing you, too.
I know.
Okay.
So, somebody out there step up, please. We need a break. Or at least a rest. Or help.
Help is a good word to put. Yeah, help.
Help. Yeah.
Help. I step back and I kind of watch what's going on. I like to watch what's going on the recreational side of things. I like to go watch what's going on the money side of things and, of course, the medical side of things. And the money side of things is no matter what happens in North America, and I'm saying North America because we're here in Canada and the U.S. is going through their bullshit too, right? So whatever happens next is not going to affect the money side of the recreational cannabis industry. And I say industry because it's becoming a quick one, isn't it?
Well, yeah, and it's not even going to, I mean, the illegal market in Canada is still going to thrive as long as it always has, as long as cannabis remains illegal.
Bootleggers still thrive in Canada.
Yeah, not as much.
There's no crackheads around. Jesus.
Pardon me?
There's no crackheads around.
No.
I mean, it's illegal. There can't be anybody doing it, right?
That's right, because the war on drugs is really working.
Exactly. I mean, if it's illegal, nobody would be doing it.
Yeah.
Do you guys...
Here's the thing about cannabis. Cannabis is so safe that you can't die from it. Some people have that desire or need to, at times, escape reality. Mm-hmm. Cannabis doesn't really help you escape reality. It makes you see what reality is. But there are other drugs. And people will use those other drugs, whether they're tobacco or alcohol or LSD. There's always going to be people that want that feeling of disconnect.
Yeah.
It's human nature to alter your perception of reality. It's the earliest start to that would be as a child standing in your front yard spinning around and around in circles.
Up until
okay,
2000.
You fall down, you can't stand up, you giggle, you do it till you can get level again, then you do it again.
Yeah, and up until what, 2012, 2013, alcohol was the only legal way to do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now you can do it by smoking a joint or in some places eating a cookie or a meal even.
Right. But now what our wonderful society does is those little kids that are spinning around wanting that disconnect and doing that spinning until they get dizzy and falling down, they're giving them drugs so they won't.
Yeah, exactly, because there must be something wrong with the kid that spins around in circles.
The drugs that they're giving them are giving them the same disconnect. So
let me tell you something. Having ADHD as a child, I grew up... Shut up, Al. You're too hyper. Settle down. I still get it every fucking day. Al, chill. You're too hyper. Well, that's who I am. You don't like it? Fuck off. That's A. But if I had access to cannabis and I had access to the strains that I know that would work for me, I wouldn't be all that hyper all the time. I don't like it all the time. It's very tiring to be going and going and going and like... I jitter. Marcel and Ellen have never been in the same room with me, but anybody who has knows that like I'm moving all the time. Like I can't stop, just like my yap. Okay? And it's very tiring. It's tiring on the head. You know that, Marcel. You experience that. Like it's never mind the overwhelming in my head going on all the time. It's the constant motion. Ask anybody with Parkinson's about constant motion. Okay? It's very tiring. It's like working out all day. Right? You know the leg bounce, Marcel? Do you get the leg bounce?
Restless leg syndrome.
Yep. I call it leg bounce.
Not anymore.
No.
Did you try a tincture for that?
I got a little bit left. I am having some in my pop right now, actually.
And your pop's not nearly as effective as under your tongue.
True enough, but it's how I like it.
We don't argue with it anymore.
Okie dokie.
Hey, here's my attitude. If you're using cannabis and it works, good for you. I don't fucking care how you're using it.
I will ingest it. I will smoke it. I will even sit on it if I have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you can sit on it if you want. But, I mean, it's not going to hurt you. Lawrence is just mentioning in the chat room, and what he's saying is exactly true, that any drug out there can be used while you're using cannabis without any dire consequences.
The one thing I asked my doctor, I'm also on Wellbutrin and metformin for my diabetes and Lipitor for my high cholesterol. I asked him specifically, are any of these drugs going to conflict with pot? And he said, nope. There's nothing that will conflict with it other than the fact that if you have a problem with mental health, watch the strain you smoke. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
And
I think they do caution people who take high blood pressure medication to keep a close eye on it. And people with type 1 diabetes, they say just keep an extra check on your sugars because
it can elevate your sugar levels, and it can also make your pitter-patter go a little pitter-pattery. I mean, I've actually had one scare where I thought I was having a heart attack, but in reality, it was me having a little bit too much oil.
That's basically what we were talking about before, right, Chris? The overdose of cannabis.
Yeah. Yep.
When you can feel your heartbeat increase and it causes a panic attack.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the natural progression of how it works. I mean, the blood vessels get bigger, your blood pressure drops, your heart rate increases, and for some people, they can feel it.
That's why your eyes get red.
And the way to get over that, sniff some pepper.
See, a few years ago, my MS got really bad.
Yes.
So I ended up going out of country for the procedure that's called the CCSVI procedure. Basically, it's angioplasty, but instead of your arteries, they blow open your veins to stop any restrictions in blood flow. And my greatest concern was because the amount of cannabis I used, and if they would have to use stents to keep veins open, how it would affect it. So I talked to the vascular surgeon on the phone, and I said, look, that's what my concern is. And he said, well, we looked at your file, and that's what our concern was. He said, so we did research. And what they told me is that cannabis is probably one of the best vasodilators you could ever use because it does nothing to the vein or the vein wall or the artery wall. All it does is relaxes the muscles surrounding that area to allow that vein to expand to allow more blood flow. So a stent would work perfectly
that's why
fine.
It works with migraines, then, isn't
Pardon
it?
me?
That's why it works with migraines, because I've been confused because when you get a migraine, your arteries, they bulge, like,
Right.
They get tight, but they're bulging, they're not shrinking.
Right.
And
So it's causing a restriction in getting out of your brain.
It relaxes them. It doesn't cause them to distend any, because that's what causes your pain. But it relaxes everything around them, so you're not getting pain. Because to me, it made no sense because your arteries will expand when you smoke pot. They also expand, and that's what causes your pain with a migraine. But it's not expanding; it's the relaxing.
Wow, we got a really smart one there, eh, Marcel?
We do.
I think this is because of Ellen's audio issues the last few shows. This is the first time that Ellen has actually been able to engage in the show.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it, so keep going, okay?
That's it. I'm done. There's no.
No, you're not done yet because we're going to listen to some news after a thing called God Makes Pot. Seeing as it's Easter, I thought I'd throw some God into the show.
Oh, wonderful.
And then after that, we're going to listen to some Ellen, and she's going to have some news for us, and then we'll be back. And if you want to come into the... Hello, Lori. If you want to come into the chat room and say hi, lifestyleradio.net. You can tweet us at the 420 Radio Show or at hashtag It's Your Lifestyle, and we'll be back in a minute or two.
Marijuana's marched through history. At the point of creation itself, some say that God pondered the greatest and most troublesome creation of all.
Got the eyes down, oversized brain check. But how many fingers on each hand number of leaves on each stem of that plant we love so much. We're putting it everywhere. Wait till they figure that out.
Stay tuned for more of marijuana's march through history.
Story from CBC this week, we learned that one of Canada's licensed medical marijuana facilities will double in size this summer. It's been a year since Health Canada radically changed its industry rules, and Alphira Medical Marijuana, who cultivates 17,000 marijuana plants in a 3,000 square meter facility operating in Leamington, by summer will be twice that size, and they will be operating in 2 buildings. The company won't actually start producing that amount of pot until late in the fall. Tennessee this week passed a bill that will end the possibility of jail time for the possession and exchange of up to an ounce of cannabis. Under the current law, someone caught possessing or sharing up to half an ounce can be hit with a misdemeanor charge and placed in jail up to a year. The maximum penalty increases to 6 years for a third offense. Right now, someone in possession of over half an ounce is guilty of a felony and can spend 6 years in prison. But under the new bill, the possession and casual exchange of up to an ounce would be reduced to a $100 ticket and no jail time, although a third possession charge would require them to do community service and enter a treatment center. In Washington, President Barack Obama commuted the sentences of 22 people on Tuesday. One of the prisoners he commuted was Francis Darrell Hayden. He'd been sentenced to life in prison for growing marijuana back in 2002. I'm sure Mr. Hayden's a happy man. Here's a bit of what I like to call crazy batshit news. The Drug Enforcement, the DEA, has approved the study of MDMA, ecstasy, for the treatment of anxiety associated with terminal illnesses. The Drug Enforcement Agency approved the Schedule I license for a Dr. Phil Wolfson, but no one in North America is allowed to study the effects of cannabis on humans, but they're going to be able to do it with ecstasy. All the naysayers in Colorado are hanging their heads this week. We got the news that Colorado's weed sales just keep trending up, and with the sale of legal weed, they're improving their schools and reducing their overall crime rates. Not counting the medical marijuana sales, Colorado sold nearly $19 million in the recreational weed alone. $1.9 million of that goes straight into government coffers and to building schools. Crime rates are also down 10%, and Dunkin' Donuts is very happy. They're expanding in Colorado. They're pushing donuts out down there like crazy. A medical marijuana patient in Calgary this week has had some problems. A 65-year-old grandmother, who is a legal medical marijuana patient, was arrested at her school. She was thrown to the ground. She was arrested. She was put in solitary confinement. And we're really not sure what's going to happen with her. Marcel's going to talk a little bit more about that later. But we do know that the lady had come off of all of her pharmaceutical drugs and was only using her legal marijuana as a medication. Thanks for listening to the news today. I'll send you back now to Al and Marcel and their special guest, and have a great night.
Yeah, she sent us back. We're back.
And we're not going to talk about the Game Can, are we?
Well, I think we already talked about it. We kind of,
Calgary cops screwed up.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, one they went after was a 66-year-old student who happens to be a paralegal student. This isn't going to bode well. Yeah, and a cancer survivor. So it's not going to bode well for the cops or the school.
Yeah.
No.
Darn.
But
somebody can get an education.
Over and over and over again. This is the first time it's happened.
No. You know, it won't be the last until the laws are changed. So we need a government with balls.
Yeah. This be a good song to play right now would be some AC/DC.
Big balls.
Yeah. So, Chris.
Yes.
Talk to me about where you think things are going, because you're pretty in tune with what's going on, like not just in Canada, right?
Oh,
you dabble.
I dabble. I'm not right up on everything, but I try to stay pretty current.
Why am I hearing dinging in my ears?
It's all over. Just my alarm, my big clock.
I thought we were getting ready to.
Tells him what he uses that clock to tell him what time to medicate.
Oh,
exactly.
Really?
Yeah, he's got a set.
Goes off every minute and a half.
A minute and a half. I was being nice with every 20 minutes.
Where do you think things are going to be in, say, 5 years, guys?
I don't know. I'm kind of scared, actually. That's what we were going to talk about today. Is just like where are all the activists at? I mean,
yeah.
If more activists come out of the closets, literally, and start speaking up and trying to make actual change, then we could have a very nice outlook of in 5 years. But if things stay the same, I mean, I'm not smiling.
Oh, if things stay the same, I can't even. I don't know how long I can keep going if I don't see other people joining in. It feels
it's lonely.
Like beating your head against the wall to be doing it all by yourself. Almost, it seems.
Wow.
Oh, exactly.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying we do it by ourselves, but I mean, like, it's always the same 5 or 6 people. I mean, and there's a lot of events that get planned and a lot of work done, and we do it to, for nothing, to try and help people learn and understand, and we try to answer the questions that everybody keeps asking me whenever they see me. So what's going on with this? What's going on with that? I go, why don't you come to a meeting? That's all we talk about. But they don't want to be conglomerated in one spot or something. I don't know what the deal is. Maybe you guys can tell me. Well, maybe my deodorant quit.
I don't know. I'm getting tired of the East Coast West Coast thing. That's what I'm getting tired of.
I mean, to me it's just a stupid fight to begin with. And I mean, everybody's.
I didn't say West Coast, did I?
No.
No, but
no. I just mean in general.
We can see a difference between the East Coast and the West Coast.
Yes.
I'm jealous of the West Coast. Like, you can't get, even like Montreal or anywhere else, you can get 50,000 people in the streets.
Yes.
I can't get 500 to save my life.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It's getting better, though.
Where? In other provinces?
Yeah.
It's not getting better here. I mean, what was it that I was just reading the other day? Vancouver's got 70 dispensaries.
I give you an example of where things are going. Last year at this time, I was getting flooded with emails and flooded with posts about 420, whatever 420, going on 420 everywhere in the world. I've gotten stuff from Toronto. I've not seen anything from Vancouver yet. I haven't seen anything from Calgary. Never mind a lack of what's going on in the States. I mean, it seems like everything's gone into crawl speed, I guess, is what I'm getting at, eh?
Well, Mom, this year, as opposed to us doing anything for 420, we've kind of gone another way. There's a health and wellness expo at the exhibition park in Halifax, and to be a little more proactive, and instead of having an event where we're preaching to the choir because you already know the pot works, and Marcel already knows the pot works, so we're going somewhere where people don't normally get to hear that message, and we're going to stand there and we're going to tell them.
Exactly. So, it's time to start telling the healthy people how much better their health could actually be.
Yeah, there's no point in me holding events that's for us to get us to show up because we're the only ones that show up. So I think it's time to start going to events and that other people are holding and making ourselves available to be for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to go to political rallies and start talking at them.
What's the old saying? Each one, teach one?
Pardon me?
What's the old saying? Each one, teach one?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's it's all about re-education. You just got to shed some light.
Now it's
lies we've been told for 80 years.
One trying to teach 100,000. Because that's about the level we're at.
If each person can convince everybody in their family, like 5 people, and then everybody else tells 5, like it spreads like wildfire.
It does spread like wildfire, but the biggest problem we have is 80 years of prohibition lies have been ingrained in so much culture. We still have kids coming out saying that cannabis is dangerous and it's bad for you. The same as we have senior citizens saying the same thing.
That's what they taught my son in school. If you do marijuana, you'll smoke marijuana and you'll die.
They tried to teach that to my daughter in school, but she ended up teaching the entire class a totally different thing about cannabis.
You'll become the devil.
Yeah.
You'll talk real funny, and you'll sit up on a Friday night and smoke pot on a radio show. That's what you'll end up doing.
Yeah, we sound like we're a bunch of stoners, don't we?
No.
Well,
I mean...
Al does, but...
Oh, come on. Thanks, Marcel.
You're welcome.
I don't know what people think is going to happen.
What was that?
But I don't know what people think is going to happen. I mean, it's just pot. Nothing weird happens. Nobody robs banks. Nobody rapes anybody. Nobody knocks over convenience stores.
It's
not on weed.
It's a lot of propaganda that you get from mainstream media, unfortunately. When I'm posting the news, I post all sides of the news. I want people to make their own informed judgment on whatever they believe in. I know that, I'll give you an example. My mom, for, the last 50 years, I don't like it when you smoke that stuff. That stuff, she called it. Last time I saw her, she asked me if I would send her some information on cannabis and cancer, and if I would leave her a cookie, teach her how to make some cookies, and leave me a joint before you go home. So, I mean, things are changing because of the attention things are getting. But there's a lot of misinformation involved, I think, as well. Well, I don't think, I know.
Oh, yeah, there's a ton of misinformation.
I mean, I'm confused as fuck as far as what's going on in Canada, and to be honest with you, I follow Marcel's lead, because I trust his judgment, as so many other people do. And
sit back and wait.
Yeah, I'll sit here and smoke my weed and
make the decision now what you're going to do in worst case scenario.
Worst case scenario, I continue smoking and drinking my tincture, and that's worst case scenario as far as I'm concerned.
I know patients out there that are burying medicine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've heard stories.
All right, just in case this happens, so they'll at least have something they can fall back onto for a little while.
We've said, look, this existing program, the MMPR, the new one, I can see its place. But
so can I.
But this not being able to grow your own, if you so deem to, and you're able to, is bullshit. I've heard that Justin Trudeau is now saying that if he gets into office, he'll seriously consider a 6-plant limit home grow. Is that true? Have you heard that?
Well, I've heard it, but I've heard all kinds of crap, and it's politicians, so I don't believe anything from any of them because they're all friggin' liars.
They need to realize that this is life and death shit, okay? And when it comes to life and death, okay, people are going to make the one decision that makes the most sense for them. I mean, at some point you can't be scared anymore. And that's the problem with, like I said, with just people coming together. I mean, imagine for a second if everybody that smokes pot all went outside and smoked pot at the same time. Nobody could do anything about it.
Well,
the scary thing is that's 75% of our population.
And you know what?
But we're too scared, okay? And that's the problem. That's what's counted on is the fear that we all have, that everybody's going to get put away for smoking. And nobody gets sent to jail in Canada for smoking a joint.
That's their fear. It's not my fear. I walk down the street smoking a joint all the time.
I know, but the people have that fear, and that's what they're worried about. And they need to get past that because that's not the reality. And the more of us that are together, the less that chance. The less the chance. I can't even get the words out.
You know what, Chris? I tell you
Makes
something.
it even less of a chance of it happening.
Yeah, and one of the first things that I saw when I started following all the different anonymous groups, one of the first ones that I jumped into was Op 420, just because it's cannabis related, right? And one of the first posts of a picture that they make pictures, was a bunch of a bunch of anonymous people standing there in a line, and their heads were all pot plants, and the caption read, "You can't arrest us all." That was one of the first things that I saw posted by Anonymous. And it's true. You can't arrest us all. There's just no way they can.
Let them.
But they're trying.
Yeah, let them.
Yeah.
Because then who's going to do their work?
If they arrest us all, they have to arrest themselves, because some of the ones that are doing the arresting do it themselves.
Yes.
So
We just can't let it get to the point of, things like Ferguson and is it Ferguson? Isn't that the town there in the States where all that rioting was happening there?
Yeah.
We can't let things get to that point. This has got to be peaceful. Cannabis is about peace and well-being, not about getting in your face. This bully activism shit has got to stop.
The problem is people are looking at it as we're the ones that are being bullied.
Yes.
Harper's
yes.
Harper promotes this anti-bully crap. And I have no choice but to laugh, because he's the biggest bully we have in this country.
Yeah, but you know what? When the people who say they are trying to help become the bullies, that's when somebody needs to say, hey, wait a minute.
Well, I don't see any bullying on the East Coast, that's for sure.
Well, everybody has a different opinion on bullying, Chris. I see a lot of people that I respect up the wazoo that will have a conversation with you. And then I see another bunch of people over here, and then another bunch of people, and everybody has their own way of doing things. But the group that sits there and hammers it like a fucking nail down your throat and says, and if you don't fucking stand up right now, you're a fucking loser and you're not doing anything for the cause and yada, yada, yada. To me, that's a bully.
Well, we have that type of bully within our movement.
That's what I'm getting at, Marcel. That's the kind of bully that we don't need around.
No. We need people that are willing to teach.
That's right.
People.
Yes.
Not try and force something down their throat, because that just puts people's backs up and makes them want to learn even less.
What I get a giggle out of when somebody says to me, "Are you really posting that article? Are you fucking kidding me?" I'm like, yeah, I am. It's a piece of news, regardless of how you feel about it. You know what I mean? There's 40 or 50 other people that might think that that's an interesting article.
Right.
Right.
Well, you posted because you think it's interesting, and that's enough of a reason. How was that?
That's right. I go
Take
through
that. Smoke and pipe it.
Exactly. I get up in the morning and I go through the news and I sit here and I post the news. Anybody that follows my feed knows that. And sometimes I post stuff that's pertinent to the cannabis community, and sometimes I don't. But when it comes right down to it, the 420 lifestyle is every man, every woman who uses cannabis for whatever means they need to use it for.
It's your channel. If you want to post videos of kittens playing with balls of yarn, that's up to you.
That's right. But it makes me laugh when somebody thinks that, okay, they can come along and it's their first thing they say, they dump on something that you've done. So please stop doing that, because it annoys me. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. That was my rant for the night. Anyways, what are we going to talk about now? We're halfway through the show.
We're more than halfway now.
Halfway, almost. Like 15 minutes shy of... Yeah. Anyways. This is the part of the show where we all start sounding like potheads.
That's because medication's kicked in, right?
Okay.
I'm sorry, I just don't sound like a pothead.
You don't.
I could try, but
yeah.
I'm not high, so.
So what else are we going to talk about?
I want to talk about Mom's Court Support Initiative, Chris Backer.
Okay.
Tell me about it. Tell us about it.
Yes, please do.
What is Mom doing for patients in Nova Scotia?
I want to know what my mom's doing too.
Well, what we've been doing is, we've been going to a lot of the court cases that have been happening about people getting busted for using marijuana under one pretense or the other, whether it be legal or maybe they weren't able to get a doctor's signature, and maybe they didn't even know that the program existed, but they've been using it for years. Whatever the case may be, as far as we're concerned, everybody should be able to have access to the plant. So really there's no, in general we focus on patients that are legal, but like everybody should be entitled to have it. So anybody who winds up on the wrong side of the law because of it, they wind up in a bit of a precarious position. A lot of the times the lawyers that you're talking to for your defense don't have a clue what's going on. The cops don't have a clue what's going on with the laws and what your rights are in a lot of the circumstances. The judges don't even know. So it's a matter of going in with the I'll call them the victim. I mean, other people don't think that we are, but when we get raided, I consider us the victim. And we talk to the lawyer and help the lawyer look at it from a perspective from a patient, because a lot of times when you're talking to the lawyer, when you're under the gun, so to speak, you're not thinking as clearly as you possibly could, and you don't have your perspective in order, so to speak. I mean, people forget parts of what are their rights when they're talking to the lawyer, because the lawyer, a lot of times I find that especially with legal aid, there's a lot of pleading going out. They want you to plead guilty, and you won't do any time, and everybody just says guilty as opposed to just going all the way through. And with the help of Chris Enns at Pharmacists, who's really the legal know-how of the initiative, we've been trying to go out and help whoever comes to us for help, and if we happen to notice or hear from somebody else that they need help, we go out and talk to them and see if we can be of some assistance. And that's pretty much it. It's just trying to help people that are really under the thumb of the justice system, when really they're just patients trying to get by.
Basically helping the people that can't get help.
Well, exactly. I mean, when you go to the lawyer to get help and he goes, geez, we usually just plead. Okay, you need to go to a lawyer that goes, really, that's what happened? Oh, geez, man, I can get this. I can do something for you. That's what you need. If you can't get a lawyer, when you're a legal patient, if your lawyer doesn't say that, either he didn't understand what you were talking about, or you just need another lawyer.
Well, see, what we've been doing now here is gathering a list of lawyers that can competently go in and argue on behalf of a medical cannabis patient. And we have 3 or 4 around the province so far, but we're working on getting more. So basically every area of the Maritimes would eventually have a go-to lawyer that understands medical cannabis.
Yeah, because you don't want to spend half of your time and half of the money that you've got for the lawyer on educating him on the current cannabis laws and the MMAR and the MMPR and the deficiencies of them and a lot of the legal precedents that we've already proven.
Exactly. So basically all we have to do is go in and convince any lawyer that you're going to start this defense with a charter challenge.
Yeah, I mean, we started off going into the courtrooms and stuff, being there as support, but I think it would be more effective to go in with the victim to the lawyer and help the victim explain their perspective. It gets lost. Just because you don't have a license doesn't mean you weren't looking for one because your doctor just retired and it took you 3 months. Well, took me 20 years to find a doctor. I mean, who's to say 3 months who's to say that's long enough? I mean, sometimes it takes 6 to 9 months to get an appointment with a doctor. Yeah. So it's ridiculous.
It is. And I saw the question that Lori had.
Okay, good.
And it's a long, dragged out response, but Lori wants me to explain defensive necessity, which is a viable argument in court. So basically, what it is this is written by a legal authority that's very well respected. All right, under substantive criminal law. The pressure of natural physical forces sometimes confront a person in an emergency with a choice of two evils. Either he may violate the literal terms of the criminal law and thus produce a harmful result, or he may comply with those terms and thus produce a greater or equal or lesser amount of harm. For reasons of social policy, if the harm which will result from compliance with the law is greater than that which will result from a violation of it, he is, by virtue of the defensive necessity, justified in violating it. Does that really need an explanation? For some, yes, maybe. Basically what it means is, if the penalty of the crime that you're committing is more harsh than what you're actually doing to benefit yourself to keep from being harmed, then you're in your full legal right to be able to do that.
See, you said the penalty, and I would have said it was the harm. If the harm you are doing under the law is worse than the harm you would do to yourself by breaking the law, okay?
It is basically the same thing.
Yeah.
Examples of this is a ship in a storm that's forced off the ocean and into a port.
Okay, can I ask a question real quick?
Yeah.
Is it a pirate ship?
It doesn't really matter.
Okay.
Because in maritime law, it doesn't really matter what your ship is. But if a ship goes into a port that's not sanctioned to allow that ship, they can't be charged for that. Right? Because they're trying to staying out in the storm would have meant death to them. To save their own lives, they can't be charged for doing that. The same as a person, and this is written into the example. A glaucoma victim who shows that smoking marijuana is medically beneficial to his eye condition is not guilty of using and possessing marijuana.
Excellent.
All right? And that's written right into this description as an example of defensive necessity. I have multiple sclerosis. I have a form that there are no drugs for. My defensive necessity is pretty friggin' simple. If I don't have cannabis, I die. I'm going to break whatever law you think you can come up with, regardless.
Has anybody won with this argument yet?
Thousands and thousands and thousands. It's just a matter of bringing up the argument. It comes from an old law that basically if you were in prison and you didn't start the fire, but the fire started and you broke out of prison, you couldn't be charged for breaking out of prison. For he is not to be hanged because he would not stay to be burnt. Right? Now, if you lit the fire, yeah, they'd charge you for the arson. But you can't put yourself in a situation that's going to cause irreparable harm to you because you're trying to follow laws. So there, you can go ahead and use your cannabis, everybody, as long as it's for medical purposes, and your life would be harmed without it.
So says Marcel.
So says the law.
Okay, and the law.
And the law. But yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of getting a lawyer to use the tools that are available to them.
And then
well, but I find with a lot of the stuff, I mean, it's perspective, and it's the way that's it's interpretation and perspective. I mean, tons of times we've gone into court with things that we pretty sure were slam dunks, to have them read it a different way and go, "Are you friggin'?" And we've been crushed. I mean, and I'm not saying that this one isn't would be. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying its interpretation is sometimes surprising to us.
Oh, definitely, because they'll spin whatever they can to try and sway the argument to their favor, regardless. But sometimes you get a judge that just sees the logic.
That's what a lawyer does, man. He lies through his fucking ass to stay within the boundaries of the law.
I'll give you a good example. Terry Wood's judge was a judge that could see the logic of what the witnesses were saying. That is why the province of Nova Scotia pulled Terry Wood's charges, because they knew they were going to lose.
It's all about presentation, okay? If you present the case with a patient that was legal and was looking and was doing everything they could to uphold the letter of the law, then there's no judge that should do anything about that. Okay, but if you can't get a lawyer to present your case properly, then they're going to send you right up the river. But if you lay it down right, if you've got a lawyer that can lay it down right, I mean, there's no judge that would convict, but it's all up to the lawyer. Exactly.
So you've got to get a lawyer that will argue on your behalf to show the judge the logic behind this as a medicine.
And that's why you got to make sure that they understand right from the beginning, because as much as you want to get mad at a judge for a bad decision, he only gets to work off what the friggin' lawyer tells him, right? So
I got called in to testify in a case that the Crown had an expert witness on the stand who said that anybody that used 5 grams of cannabis in a day would be comatose. The best comment from the judge was when I walked off the stand after explaining that I used 30 grams a day, and he said, that man doesn't seem very comatose to me.
There you go.
All right?
They don't understand.
So the judges are learning that these are lies, and they've got to start using their own best judgment, not what bullshit is presented to them. Kirk Tucson in Owen's trial used pure logic.
Yeah, he was wonderful.
So the judges get pure logic to them that makes sense.
Yeah.
We're not cows. We're not made to digest plant matter like that. So it's all logic.
I'm a cow.
Well, you're only because you have those multiple stomachs, right? But that's a different show.
But you are full of bull.
Yeah.
That's our bull show.
I'm gullible, too.
The bull show. We need changes in the country. That's a given, and the changes are coming, but they're coming slowly, and they're coming at a cost.
They're not coming very fast. I mean, you guys were talking about medical and the doctors, and I mean, as a Crohn's patient, I've gone to the Emerge tons of times, and every time I say marijuana, they all warn me that it's going to cause constipation, and I'd pay $1,000 if marijuana constipated anybody.
You know what? That'd be another use.
You know what? I know a lot of patients that can testify how well cannabis works to stop anal leakage.
What?
So I'm thinking that there's a lot of politicians that could use some of that as well.
A lot of bankers, too.
Yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of their anal leakage comes out of the mouth.
Now, hey, Marcel, we talked about that language before.
Oh, the anal? Sorry.
No, we need more of it.
Okay.
I hear ringing in my ears. It must be.
Oh, God, just one ring. It's the half hour thing.
It's the half hour, and since it's Chris's half hour mark, we're going to listen to some Big Schmo.
Big Schmo?
Alexander King.
Schmo.
Big Schmo.
Schmo's it up.
And we'll be back. It's the 420 Radio Show. Come on in the chat room and say hello.
This is Bubbles from the trailer park, and they're playing some fucking
excellent music on lifestyleradio.ca. I hope I didn't sound too nervous there.
Please hang up and try again.
You're listening to Lifestyle Radio.
Hey, man, this is your neighbor over here, man. Bill, I don't know what y'all think y'all got going on over there. See tractor trailers pulling in, man. Whole trucks full of wood. But don't y'all have that music up past 9:30. We got an ordinance right here, and I ain't having it.
I said this one here's for anybody with a neighbor that's kind of a busybody. Always complain about the music and the smoke, sound of your exhaust, so you broke down both. Bonfires full of your kinfolk with a shine is cold and the whiskey flow. Your neighbors know you can't get no higher. One time real loud, very town. I said the roof's on fire. Now it's just barbecue and jambalaya. Hellfire, put smoke in the wind. Go to sleep, wake up, do it all again. Even though my neighbors ain't nowhere near. Smoke so loud, I know they hear. And I don't give a damn if you think I'm wrong. My neighbors know I get stoned. My neighbors know I drink beer. From all the bottles on my lawn. And all the smoking over here. My neighbors know I get stoned. My neighbors know I drink shine. From all the jars on my lawn. And the smell of all that pine. I got a jacked up Chevy, run down Ford, a gate out front from an old barn door. Hay in the field, up to your neck, pond full of fish that are ready to catch. I got shine in my jar, homegrown peach, swish up behind that OG creek. Got a gal so fine, head to beat, hanging with a country boy down by the creek. Got a boy named Bubba that'll whoop that ass, gas money and beer, he'll cut your grass. Bonfire burning, raise some hell, whiskey bit with a rebel yell. Bring 'em on in, Monday to Sunday, do it again. If you don't like it, love it, live it. About two shits is what I get it. From my backyard to the driveway ends. Stomping ground for me and my kids. For miles around if you got an itch. When you hear us party, to cross their paths and calm us down or to shut us up. You don't want to mess with folks like us. Backwood hustlers, dirt road bound. That's why my name was back. I get stoned. My neighbors know I drink beer. From all the bottles on my lawn. And all the smoking over here. My neighbors know I get stoned. My neighbors know I drink shine. From all the jars on my lawn. And the smell of all that pine. My neighbors know I rock and roll. My neighbors know I get stoned. My neighbors know I drink. My neighbors don't know what the hell they even think. When they see us pull up, radio full up, hear me down the road. Hey, I just want to let my neighbors know I ain't going nowhere. The home association still trying to ban me. I know my neighbor on this side and that side, the front and back can't stand me, but I don't give a damn. He in the van, always on the front yard barbecuing, complaining about the noise, me and the boys, always on the back porch making music. You know my neighbor. Yeah, I know your neighbor. Man, you know my neighbor. Hey, I know your neighbor. Well, if you know my neighbor, you know my neighbor hates his neighbor. Damn, I know your neighbor. Think I know your neighbor. It's your neighbor. Man, it is my neighbor. Well, that's my neighbor. Well, I be damned. You know my neighbor hates his neighbor. My neighbors know I get stoned. My neighbors know I drink beer. From all the bottles on my lawn. And all the smoking over here. My neighbors know I get stoned. My neighbors know I drink shine. From all the jars on my lawn. And the smell of all that pine. My neighbors, all in my business. My neighbors, all in my business. All in my business. All in my business. My neighbors, all in my business.
Sending ass over here into my swimming pool and got all my kids all.
And like I said, this is the 420 radio show, and we are back.
And that was my buddy Big Smo.
That was Big Smo.
I don't like country and I don't like rap, but I like Big Smoke.
I like his stuff. He's got some cool songs. I've kind of gotten into the Shiner music and stuff like that, like Moonshine Bandit and Potluck and all those kind of guys, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I like those guys.
I like all music.
Actually had Potluck on the show. We had them. They were in their bus traveling along through some state that was. It was all right. They're nice guys.
I'd like to get Big Smoke to come on the show and smoke a bowl.
All you got to do is ask him. I bet you he'll come on.
There we go. We'll ask him.
We'll tweet him. Hey, Schmo.
Hey, Smoke, come on.
Schmo, come
Bring
on.
your stuff.
Yeah.
So we're back to yakking with Chris, our very outspoken actress.
Outspoken. That's, yeah.
Outspoken and glamorous.
What? Yeah, I've never considered Crohn's a glamorous disease, but
I can't believe that you got told that you had a glamorous disease, but hey, you take the compliments where you can get them, right?
Exactly. No, I mean, it's, for me, just cannabis saved my life with Crohn's disease. If it wasn't for that, I was taking 20 or 30 different pills a day. And now all I take is my cannabis, so that's it. I mean, I can't imagine having gone any other way. They tried everything else. The side effects were ridiculous, and here I sit. Well, now I'm back doing something for re-education, see if I can figure out something I can do and make a living at it for the next little while, but try to get back into the whole swing of things.
Perfect.
How do you medicate, Chris?
Well, however I can get. I use it on me, on creams and in oils. I eat oil. I do dabs. I smoke joints. I
eat cookies and brownies.
Whatever I can do. Any way that I can add it to my intake.
Okay.
I put it in me.
And before
I hope you're not using those really dangerous dabs.
Yeah, don't use those dabs or that or what is it called? Shatter. Stay away from that shatter
stuff.
Dude.
Is that dangerous now? Is it?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, dabbing and shatter are basically the worst things you could ever do to your system.
It's like crack. It's like crack of marijuana.
Oh well, I'll tell you, I love doing dabs. They are awesome. So.
Let me ask you.
So you're a big dab fan,
Marcel. I just want.
I am a big dab fan. Why in the name of God, when I smoke as many joints as I do in the run of a day, if I can replace that by just doing a couple quick little puffs and I'm done, and I don't have to smoke all that material, it doesn't even make sense.
It makes sense where you're going. I got a follow up question to that. You smoke a lot now. You use a lot of cannabis now. What were I don't want to call it habits, but what was your intake like before you got sick? Were you a heavy consumer?
No. I mean, I wasn't a very big consumer. I didn't really start smoking cannabis until I was 19 or 20. I mean, I got Crohn's when I was about 16.
Okay.
I had a smart-ass doctor told me, he goes, if you can get your hands on it, probably help you. But, I didn't know anything about it or where to get it or...
Yeah.
There wasn't even a program in place at that point. And it wasn't until years later that, I got into it with a couple of people, but it was a while before I realized that it was actually helping me medicinally.
Yeah.
And then Rick Simpson and Phoenix Tears really kind of were the light of my life and changed everything about my health and my outlook on a lot of stuff in life and really put me on the path that I'm on now. I attribute a lot of what I do now because of him and the miracle that you get out of using the oil.
I lost track of what we were talking about. Sorry.
Because you got high.
I was reading the chat room. I was reading the chat room. Lawrence was chatting away, and I started. That's one of the reasons why I don't keep the chat room open. Like, oh, birdie.
I can do a couple things at once, so I'm all right with that.
Well, I'm okay with that too. I mean, there is one plus about ADHD, and that is multitasking. But it's that whole birdie thing that went by the chat room. And,
oh, look, a butterfly.
Yep. Well, you say butterfly, I say birdie. But.
Yep.
Hey, listen, I got a shout out I want to make to two different Twitters, to the cast of Corner Gas, because they crack me up big time, and I tweeted that the other day, and they said thank you, so I thought that was cool.
Oh,
And,
that's nice.
Yeah,
I like Corner Gas.
I
Love that show.
they're hilarious, man. I'd love to get Brett and the whole, what is it, Brent Butler, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's dry humor. I love it.
That's what I like, is that dry humor.
It reminds me of what's the name of that movie? Fargo. It kind of reminds me of Fargo.
Without the violence.
But I mean, just the people. I mean, the people.
Oh, yeah.
Not the whole story. The people.
It's still a dry humor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no wood chippers.
No wood chippers, no.
Although that would be funny.
Yeah.
A wood chipper is always funny.
Yeah. And there was somebody else I was going to say hi to, but I can't remember.
There was a couple of twits.
There was a couple of twits. Yep, a couple of twits. Yeah.
But he saw a butterfly and lost the other one.
Oh, I remember who it is. The Pillsbury Pizza Pop people. They've been following the show for a while. I thought that was funny.
Pizza Pops and Cannabis kind of do go.
Well, that's what I was sitting here, and then all of a sudden the Pillsbury Pizza Pop Twitter account follows, and I'm like, huh, oh, cool. I must have been eating them and then said I'm having a pizza pop or something, and then they saw it, or I don't know, but yeah, they've been following. I thought it was. Anyways, we're hungry. We need some pizza pockets.
I was doing good till you said that.
Something we should mention is the Trailer Park Boys. They've started a little campaign, and if you check their Facebook page, you will see they have a.
We should have actually put that
email
PSA
campaign
up.
Yes.
If you can find it, we can play it.
Yeah, let me find it. Ellen, give him that link for that PSA. Because I watched that earlier, and that was an awesome PSA.
All right. Well, you can just post it right in the chat here, and I'll open it up. Woo, I just got a spinny. Once a pothead, always a pothead. How do you feel about being called a pothead? That's what the question is going to be for the rest of the show. Marcel?
The only word I don't like is dope.
Yeah.
I don't like dope. Dope pisses me off.
Yeah, I can see
You
that.
call it anything else you want in my books. Just dope is one that gets me.
Well, yeah.
I don't like the word user.
Who?
Because I'm not a user.
User.
I'm not a pot user.
Consumer.
I am a marijuana. Actually, I'm a cannabis patient.
Yes. I don't care what you
Is
call
that
it.
right, though? Is it cannabis patient? You're not sick from cannabis, so...
No.
Yeah, so is it cannabis patient the right term?
No.
I'm a Crohn's patient, right?
But Chris,
or you're an MS patient, but you're not a Halidol patient or a Percocet patient.
No.
No, that's true.
I fully agree. But you had asked me at an event here recently, Mr. Backer, what kind of an activist I was. And I said I wasn't an activist, that I was an advocate. But you know what? Thinking about that,
that's how I feel too.
My response would better be suited as survivor.
Yes. Yes.
And the only reason I'm so outspoken is because I am still surviving. So it's not really activism, and it's not really being an advocate.
If somebody says, "Are you an activist?" I say no. I am somebody who's got a hell of a lot of time on his hands. And I like to smoke pot.
Yeah, I posted the link.
And I happen to be a patient. Okay, I'm going to pull this up. It's probably going to start right away, people. Just to warn you.
The following is a public service announcement from Trailer Park Boys.
Bubs, calm down. It's okay. Bubs, you can do this. Just tell everyone what you told us.
I'm just nervous. Okay, so we live in the Sunnyvale Trailer Park in Nova Scotia, Canada, and I just found out on the internet here that the Nova Scotia government might be cutting the tax program, the tax credit thing, and if they do that, then the camera people that come and film us and put us on the TV, they're not going to be able to come anymore. So there'll be no more show unless we move away.
Pops, I'm not moving. I've lived in Sunnyvale my whole life. I'm not moving because of a bunch of government dicks.
Oh, no, Ricky, I'm not either. I've got my kiddies. I cannot just pack up 116 kiddies and move, but, like, what are we going to do?
Well, boys, if we're going to keep doing the show, we got to do that. We got to do it somewhere else, man.
But I can't.
Show's over. No, it's not going to be over.
Look, here's maybe the people can help us. I looked it up, and this is the Nova Scotia Finance Minister. They have their contact information on there. We can put it up on the screen here. Maybe you could just send them an email. You know, like, don't be mean, don't be rude, swearing at them and stuff, but just say, hey, I live in whatever country here you're in, and I know all about Nova Scotia and Canada because of those guys, and I watched the show, and please don't let it go away. And maybe they'll listen. Maybe.
I hope so.
Their Twitter thing's there. Look at that, the Twitter thing. You can Twitter them and email them and just, let them know that we don't want this to happen. Please.
Please. The government's trying to fuck us. Like, this sucks.
Hashtag save Sunnyvale.
Let's see how much trouble we get for playing that.
Yeah, they got a good point.
And it's not just Save Sunnyvale and Trailer Park Boys. It's all small film and stuff along that lines in Canada is what it comes to.
And to me, it's a really stupid idea because we get a lot of shows, movies, things like that are filmed in Nova Scotia. And if they take those tax credits away, the same thing's going to happen here that happened to Vancouver when Schwarzenegger did it.
And Toronto.
Yeah, I've been an extra in 2 different productions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And, Schwarzenegger turned around and
basically
put the tax credits back into California and pulled the business out of Vancouver because Vancouver was offering tax credits to the movie industry.
He sure did. And that hurt, too.
It hurt a lot.
It's starting to come back. I was in Toronto a couple of weeks ago, and I like to go down to the lakeshore, and that whole area just east of Harbourfront is, along Front Street, is all studio space now. It's all the big, it looks like you're driving into Hollywood, for fuck's sakes,
Right, but Vancouver had that, and all of a sudden, overnight, it was
gone.
Vacant lots.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah. But the
sad thing is, I worked in that industry when I was out there in BC.
Is it picking up, though, now? Is it picking up again?
Slowly, but they're still not back to the tax breaks that they can match yet.
And
it's too bad. And Nova Scotia has some great scenery. They've got some great locations for filming. They need the tax credits to allow that filming to happen in this province. So I applaud the Trailer Park Boys for coming out and doing a public service announcement.
Yeah. It's a shame that they even have to do something like that, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And they're a great supporter of the medical cannabis movement, too. John Dunsworth's done a lot of different things.
Yep.
My buddy John, Mr. Leahy.
Yeah.
Yep. And I like John. John's a good guy.
We'll have to get him on the show. I'd love to.
We should.
I met him in Mount Forest when I lived in Mount Forest. They did a weekend-long concert thingy, and I think it was Randy and Mr. Leahy that hosted it. It was 2 of them anyways, and one of them was Mr. Leahy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could probably get John on the show.
I was supposed to have him on.
What he can do.
I was supposed to have him on last year sometime, and we just never followed through. But sure.
Well, you have to get his shooting schedule too, because don't forget he's involved with Trailer Park Boys. He's also stars in Haven or acts in Haven. I guess he's a star. I like him in Haven.
I don't know the show. And I've never seen an episode of the Trailer Park Boys.
Seriously?
Funny.
I have never.
Funny.
I have never seen an episode of the Trailer Park Boys.
Now I need to smoke a joint. That just threw me for a loop.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, me too. That shocks me. I was living in BC and I'd never heard tell of the Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah.
And
I know who they are.
I watched an episode, and as soon as I watched an episode, I actually got homesick because that's basically how I grew up, hanging out with people like that.
Yeah. No,
So,
never.
I got homesick because that was Nova Scotia.
Not my kind of show, but I like corner gas.
I like corner gas, but now I don't like watching Weeds.
Oh, I love that show.
I liked it for a while. I
It got a little
followed
stupid,
those shows
though.
for a while.
Yeah, it got a little. Oh, the other show that I wanted to that started following us recently is another Discovery Channel. A lot of Discovery Channel shows started following the show. They've been following for a while. The new show that I'm totally into, and I guess it's the new spin on a Mythbusters kind of thing. It's called What Could Possibly Go Wrong. And these guys are just everyday guys that like to build shit out of motorcycles and other stuff like that, right?
Oh, yeah?
It's on right now on Discovery Canada. If you're watching, you can watch after.
Maybe what we should do is get them to make oil. That's great. What could go wrong?
Yeah. I have tweeted the Mythbusters so many times asking them when they're going to do some cannabis myths.
They can't.
Why not? It's Discovery
because it's still
Channel.
illegal federally.
It's Discovery Channel. They do documentaries on that shit all the time on Discovery.
But you're talking about Mythbusters who are in California.
Yes.
In the U.S.,
yes.
Mythbusters is an American show.
Yes.
That Discovery picks up.
Yes.
They can't do a show about something that's federally illegal.
Why not? Okay. Well, I think
because
it's stupid.
Federally illegal.
Okay, well then they can come up here and do an
episode. The legal department would never let them do it.
They can come up here and do an episode in Canada.
They can come in my backyard.
Yep.
Do an episode in my backyard.
Maybe we should do some myths.
Yeah. Myth busting.
Yeah,
we'll go and we'll videotape Chris Backer doing dabs with Shatter. And showing how he's not addicted and not insane afterwards.
How it doesn't ruin a person?
Okay. Yeah, we can show the not addicted. The insanity part might be a bit of a stretch, but we can work on that.
I mean, I've been feeling better since I've been doing dabs because I smoke way less joints. So,
and see, that would be a plus too.
Yeah, I mean, I know that when I'm smoking constantly, like if I'm sitting at home working on stuff, that I'm a chimney. But if I'm out and about, I don't smoke when I'm driving. I think everybody's each to his own, but I will literally go as far as pulling over. I'm scared to death going through that whole fucking thing, so you ain't gonna ever catch me driving with a doobie. Ever.
Man, I don't anymore. I did. I mean, I've been pulled over so many times for smell like pot rolling out of the car or the truck, but
yeah.
It's they make it like it's a big deal, but with Crohn's and the way I was in pain, I was safer smoking a joint while I was driving than I was just driving the way I was without doing that.
Well, you get a spasm and you're gone.
Unless I'm using cannabis.
What's that?
You wouldn't want me driving unless I'm using cannabis.
Well, that's just it. I mean, they didn't understand, but it was always such a big deal. It was crazy. So
my using cannabis
it just wasn't worth it all the time getting pulled over. It was just it was stupid.
Marcel is echoing again.
Sorry.
Well, everyone has to hear it so much, you might as well say it twice.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll just do that. I'll just shut up.
Well, no, it's okay. We got through the whole show without any major fuck-ups with the audio. Now it's starting, so maybe we should say goodnight and listen to a song.
Well, what we should do is what's going on next week? I'm trying to get Lawrence Cherniak on for next week, but the problem is he's wandering around the jungles of Peru.
Yes.
All right. So we might get him on for next week or the week after, possibly.
Well, regardless of who's going to be on, we will be here next Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
We'll try and get Lawrence, and that way people can learn about hash.
I'd like to learn about hash.
Well, Lawrence has written a few books on hash, just hash. They're called the Great Big Books of Hash. Check them out. They're actually really good books.
Well, maybe we'll have to get our hands on one.
I have my hands on one.
Yeah, but I don't.
Well, maybe we'll have to find out where you can get a book.
That's right. We will.
But yeah, if we can get him on for next week or the week after, that'd be awesome.
Cool.
Just, trotching around the jungles of Peru, you're not going to have internet access all the time.
Yeah. And if and as we always say at the end of the show, if you have a cannabis story, success or otherwise, you'd like to share, get a hold of us and we'll
bring
have
it
you on. Yep, bring it on.
Come have your say. You want to bitch about our government? Bring it.
Hey, you want to bitch about anything? Bring it. Just don't be rude. That's all.
Yeah.
If you're rude, we'll hang up on you.
Don't be rude to us.
Next week,
they can be rude to other people.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Okay.
Next week we'll have our phone lines open, and maybe I'll talk Marcel into going on YouTube.
Maybe. You never know what can happen.
You never know.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, Chris.
Other than Chris,
very very nice
awesome
meeting you finally, bud.
Yeah, I'm glad I finally get on. Thank you for having me on.
Not a problem. You're more than welcome anytime.
Keep up the good work.
Ellen, it was nice to finally hear you.
You might be sorry someday.
Oh, God. And
thanks for tonight, guys.
I look forward to chatting with you sometime, Lawrence. And this is the 420 Radio Show. We are here Fridays at 7 p.m. right here on lifestyleradio.net. Podcast to be out afterwards, and we'll say goodnight and listen. We're going to listen to one of my favorite phone calls, and it's a cop who eats a brownie. And we'll be back next week.
He overdosed.
Yeah, he overdosed. Yeah, we're going to play the whole thing. It's 5 minutes and 31 seconds, and then there'll be a song on, and then, we're going to listen to some music and stuff after that. Okay, good night now.
Peace out.
Good night.
See you.
Lord, myself to keep. To die before I wake. My folks take.
215 emergency?
Yeah, can you please send rescue to... I think I'm having an overdose, and so is my wife.
Okay, you and your wife?
Yes.
Overdose of what?
Marijuana. But I don't know if it had something in it.
Okay.
Can you please send rescue?
Okay, how old are you?
I'm 29 years old, and my wife is 26. Please come.
26?
Yes, please.
Have you guys been drinking also?
What?
Have you guys been drinking today too?
No, that's it.
No, and is there any weapons in the house?
No. Please come.
Okay, we're on our way. Do you guys have fever or anything?
No, I think we're dying.
Okay, how much did you guys have?
I don't know. We made brownies, and I think we're dead. I really do.
Okay, how much did you put in the brownies?
I don't know.
Was it a bag? Who made the brownies?
My wife and I did. Cuba, come here.
Okay, get her.
She's on the living room ground right now.
Is she breathing?
She's barely breathing.
Is she awake?
I think so.
Okay, can you look?
Pardon?
Can you look?
I could feel her. She's laying right down in front of me. Time is going by really, 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 really slow.
Okay, well, I'm on the phone with you, and do you know how much of it you bought and put in the brownies?
Pardon?
How much did you buy?
Just please send rescue.
They're on the way, but I'm trying to figure out how much you bought and put into the brownies, sir.
Probably like a quarter ounce total.
A quarter ounce total into the brownies? Did you guys eat all the brownies?
Yeah, we did.
Okay. And you ate all of them. But how many? Was it a big batch, a little batch?
It was a quarter ounce.
Okay, but brownie-wise, how many pieces do you guys think you guys had?
I don't know. I probably had like a small chunk. Please come. What time is it?
It's 9:37. When did you guys last eat the brownies?
Probably like an hour and a half ago.
Okay, is your wife still breathing?
Yeah, she is. She's kneeling down in front of me.
Okay.
I know. We have to wait.
Okay, and is she Stacy Sanchez?
Yes.
What's your name?
My name is Edward.
You're Edward Sanchez? Okay. And did you guys have any other sort of drugs you know of?
Pardon?
You know, Did you guys do anything else today besides marijuana?
No, that's it. But I don't know what was it. The marijuana could have been. There could have been something in the marijuana.
Okay. Are you guys on any sort of prescription pills? You guys take any sort of other medication?
No, I don't. My wife takes Vicodin though.
And did she take any today?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, where's the Vicodin?
The Vicodin is I don't know. It's in our medicine cabinet.
Okay, but how many does she take it on a regular basis?
Yeah.
How many does she take on a regular basis? 2, 4, 8?
Like, I don't know, like 5 a day. Please come.
She takes about 5 a day?
Yeah. Are you coming?
Yeah, they're on the way. They've been in mouth for 2 minutes. It's now 9:38.
Okay.
And she takes about how many? 5 a day?
What's that?
How many does she take a day?
She takes like, I don't know, like 6.
6 a day?
Like 5 a day. I don't know. We got into a car accident in Dearborn Heights last year.
Okay. And you don't know how many she's taken today?
No.
Okay. Is there any animals in the house?
Is there any what?
Do you have any dogs, cats?
I'll put them away for you.
Okay. Is the front door open?
Yeah, the front door's open. Come here.
Porch light on?
Pardon?
Is the porch light on?
Yes, the porch light is on.
Are there any weapons in the house?
You already asked me that.
And what'd you say?
Yeah. Well, no, there is.
Where is it?
It's in my closet.
Is that in the back bedroom?
Yeah, in the front bedroom.
In the front bedroom?
Yeah. Go on.
Okay.
Come on, Ginger. Where's FD at right now?
They're on the way, sir. Do you guys do this on a regular basis?
No, this is the first time we've ever done it.
And you've never done marijuana before?
Yeah, I have.
You have, and you've never had this reaction to it before?
No, ever. What's the score in the Red Wings game?
What?
What's the score in the Red Wings game?
I've got no clue. I don't watch the Red Wings.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure this isn't some type of, like, hallucination that I'm having.
Oh, why? What's the score say?
3-3.
What channel is it on?
Channel 2.
It's 2-2.
Huh?
It's 2-2.
Okay. Please tell your officers they just passed me.
Okay, they just passed you?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll let them know, okay? Go outside and flag them down, okay?
Okay, my mother-in-law just got here, too.
Okay.
Okay? Alrighty.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Never said any of this was gonna be simple. Sometimes all it takes is just a symbol. Oh, because the place you want to reach is right in front of you. We're getting stronger, so just keep on that bit longer.
Girl, come over, we want you closer. Tired of the rainy days. You bring the sunshine. You bring the sunshine. So before the night over, I want you to know that I'm willing to change my ways. You bring the sunshine. You bring the sunshine.
Guess you're gonna run out of luck now, sooner or later. You better make time to sit down and put pen to paper. Oh, because the things you want to do will slip away from you. It won't be long now, so just keep on being strong now.
Girl, come over, we want you closer. Tired of the rainy days. You bring the sunshine. You bring the sunshine. So before the night over, I want you to know that I'm willing to change my ways. You bring the sunshine. You bring the sunshine. A regular she blow my mind. Not tell no lie, we can't live without you. Without you. Girl, you got me weak in my knees. 7 days of the week, I stop think about you. About you a show off about a man want you. Me want pick up the phone but me can't call you. Don't leave a question me a go ask you. Baby me love you why you a go answer. Now you a show off about a man want you. Girl come over, me want you closer. Tired of the rainy days. You bring the sun, 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 sunshine. You bring the sun, 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 sunshine. So before the night over, I want you to know that I'm willing to take my ways. You bring the sun, 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 sunshine. You bring the sun, 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 sunshine.
You like music, you like weed, well, we gonna be good friends indeed. 'Cause there's not much I like more than smoking trees. They'll make you dance the do-si-do and teach you how the cheese will grow. Smoke a bowl on the 420 radio show. On Lifestyle Radio.
So what are you doing? Nothing? Why not?
I'm trying to get on this lifestyle radio website.
Sounds like a cool website.
Yeah, it's alright. Oh, I might have it.
You might have it.
You're listening to Lifestyle Radio.